Hello there.
Whoa, who the fuck? Who are you?
The name is Zack Snyder, and I've got something cool that I myself have made.
How the hell did you get into my green screen fiery void?
You left the door open, you fucking donut.
I know I should have got a lock for the room. But anyway, enough raging. What is it you want to show me?
My very own DC trilogy.
Oh?
It's got some pretty cool dark themes that I might think you'd like.
Okay, interesting. DC does have some mainly dark theming, and a trilogy revolving them does sound pretty cool. Give me the movies, I'm gonna binge them all. 6.5 goddamn hours later.
So, what do you think of my characterization of Batman?
Get out. Batman v Superman? They best should rename that to Batman v my goddamn fucking patience. Yeah, if you couldn't tell by that, you know, very humorous and funny joke, I really hate this movie. I'm aware there are movies that are like on objective level worse, but well, at least with some of these, I can enjoy ironically. Batman v Superman, on the other hand, is a completely different kind of worms. Not only is it one of the most narratively broken and depressing looking movies I have ever seen, but it's also one of the most insulting movies I've ever seen. Purely when it comes down to how it treats Batman and Superman as characters. How and why does it do exactly that, you may ask? Well, we gotta see it for ourselves to find out, you fucking idiot. Look, this is my first movie-related video. I don't know how to start movie reviews. Please, just help me. Alright, so the film starts off by taking us to Thomas and Martha Wayne's funeral, and during the scene we get the Oranges of Batman, where he falls into a well and gets swarmed by bats, and we even get a flashback of his parents getting killed. Even though we already knew that for like, what, 10 million years. What's different is, instead of being helped back out of the well, after, you know, he gets swarmed by bats, he then just magically levitates out of the fucking well. What?! So far, we are off to a, brilliant start. Oh yeah, I should mention, some of these scenes, not in the original cut of the movie. You see, me and my man Yo Charlie checked out the Ultimate Edition just so, you know, we can get the full picture of this, misunderstood masterpiece. And you're probably asking, do any of these added scenes explain anything the original cut failed to do? Well, you see, the answer is... Then we cut to the Black Zero event from Man of Steel, all in Bruce's perspective this time. Now you also may be asking, wait a minute, why didn't you review Man of Steel first? You suggested you review it in the intro because, you know, Zack Snyder made it a trilogy. Well, you see, the answer is... But anyways, Bruce is helping these people evacuate and is helping people who are injured during Black Zero. Oh yeah, I should mention, the guy in the building who was telling everyone to evacuate, doesn't evacuate and accepts his fate anyway. Bro, if I saw this out of my window, I would have fucking bolted out of here, not just stand there and gawk at this catastrophe that's going on. Anyway, Bruce finds a lost child, and she reveals that her mother died in the building during the war between Superman and General Zod. Oh no. He then sees Superman and General Zod having a battle, and then that motivates him to take down Superman in his own hands. You see, that's actually decent motivation for Bruce to have at the start of the movie. I sure hope they don't screw it up as the movie goes on. That would be silly, wouldn't it? 18 months later, some dudes in India dig up and mine kryptonite, and that's kind of it. Meanwhile, a Pepsi advert is being filmed. Nah, JK, we're introduced to Jimmy Olsen, who's meeting up with Lois Lane for some journalist work or something, I don't know. A bunch of journalists babble later. Jimmy then gets shot already? What the f- You all know who he was in the comics, right? He was like Superman's best friend or something, I don't know, I can't really read. But without any interaction between the two, in the second movie of this cinematic universe, he gets domed! That's like starting off Iron Man, and then 5 minutes you kill off Rhodes. A bunch of meandering later. The terrorist dude holds Lois Lane hostage, and then Superman busts in and fucking kills the guy. Yeah, while we are here, let's talk about this version of Superman real quick. Compared to his comic counterpart, which is basically just one big symbol of hope, in BVS and Man of Steel, he isn't really the most chipper guy to be around. He basically has no regard for civilian casualties. For example, take a look at the awful third act in Man of Steel, and sees himself as this demigod who doesn't feel like he belongs on Earth. Plus, unless your name is Lois Lane, he won't be able to save you. Nor does he prevent anything he should be able to because of his powers, which we will talk about. I'm sorry about that, let's get back to talking about the movie. We then cut to a police investigation. They hear screams, so one guy goes upstairs. He finds the criminal they were looking for, but he's in a really rough shape. And then the guy turns around and sees... him. They then find out what Batman likes to do to criminals, which is whip out a cattle iron, brand the criminals like cows, so the inmates know who to kill. This is just scratching the surface over what this maniac does. Trust me! Alright, deep breaths. Deep breaths. Let's carry on. Anyway, Lois goes into her bathtub because she's sad about the fact that Superman is rightfully so called. Then Clark comes in and talks to her. Both pretend they're in a Kingdom Hearts cutscene, and then they cut to Bruce in the Batcave, where we meet, not even kidding, the best character in this whole entire movie and franchise. Meet Alfred, fellas! He's testing out Bruce's new armor technology, and he shows how Batman's rep is deteriorating and compares him to Superman, which gets even more ironic as the movie goes on, let me tell you. We then cut to LexCorp, where we meet, well, Lex Luthor. And I know many others have said this, but yeah, Jesse Eisenberg is not fit for this role at all. He just not feel right as the dude, and comes off as annoying. But I guess he's the only thing in this movie I enjoy unironically, or ironically, I don't know, who gives a shit. Look, I know it's a different take on the guy, but even so, it's a pretty doo-doo-ass take. But anyway, he talks about what he does here, but later we find out what he really plans to do, which is use General Zod's corpse and cut off his fingerprints so he can go into his ship, probably so he can, like, swim piss or something, I don't know. We then cut to Clark Kent putting his brain on drugs. He then sees the news talking shit about him because of the big bad thing he did.
To look him in his eye and ask him how he decides which lives count and which ones do not.
To be fair to that woman, she's kinda right. In BVS and Man of Steel, Superman barely saves any lives, so I don't know why this movie is trying to make me feel for him. We then cut to the guy who got injured doing Black Zero doing conspiracy theories on Superman, and later he sprays a statue calling Superman a false god, and yeah, that's kind of it. Oh yeah, I should mention, you may notice I don't focus much on the talking scene in this movie, because Jesus Christ, they are boring! They basically just consist of people in grayscale scenes talking about how shitty everything is after the destruction of Metropolis, and I'm essentially wasting my time and your time if I talk about them. But anyway, yeah, meanwhile, Lex Luthor asks Elastigirl over here. No, seriously, that's Holly Hunter playing this girl. He asks her, hey man, can I have some kryptonite? That'll be nice to you. And Elastigirl says, nah, you aren't allowed to have kryptonite, sorry, you're kinda cringe, you're a Dark Souls 2 fan. And yeah, that's basically what happens. We then cut to Bruce on his way to mourn his dead parents, but upon arriving to the gravestone, suddenly oil comes out, and after Batman inspects the oil, he gets friggin' jump scared by Man-Bat, gets bitten, and wait, it was all a dream. Why was that there? What was the point in that? Why do I feel dumber every second I watch this trife? Why is there a woman in his bed? But in the morning, after he has a chat with Alfred, he then looks at his suit for a bit and then walks away, and then he sees Robin's suit, with Joker's words on there as a taunt. Oh yeah, apparently in his universe, Harley Quinn killed the Robin, which does sound like a neat idea to why Batman is the way he is, but I would have bought it if I thought it happened, Snyder! Anyways, he drives to Lex Luthor's thing to do some undercover detective work, but upon getting caught, he then has a chat with Clark Kent. But anyway, after the talk, Clark notices a girl in a burning building, then he dresses up as Superman and saves her. The biggest surprise is that he saves someone that isn't Lois Lane, woo! Then there's a montage of Superman debates where he's a criminal or a hero. The only thing I got out of that scene was Neil deGrasse Tyson saying this.
Because there is Superman. There he is. An alien among us.
But yeah, after all that, we then get introduced to Diana, who is basically Wonder Woman if you couldn't remember who she was, by an action-packed talking scene. Oh boy! Back at Bruce's, he's decrypting the data he gathered from Lex Luthor's thing, and then we cut to whoa, hey, what the fuck? So, we cut to a post-apocalyptic universe? What? But Batman is investigating the camp that supposedly has kryptonite, so he's, hey, you gotta stop running ingredients for the Pringle Man! And the other guy says, alright. So then Batman investigates the cache, and only to realize that, was it kryptonite? Woo! I never saw that coming. Did you see that? Cause I didn't. I swear I did. So now that the cat's out of the bag, the other guys get killed by Superman's soldiers who are in disguise. And then Batman whips out a gun and kills the guys. Oh boy. Look, I understand this is the apocalyptic version of Batman, but even then I could say it's a bit too far for me. And he gets put down by the cult warrior dudes and gets knocked down by a parademon and then gets captured. Yeah. While at the prison, Superman then pulls up, hots out of the after party, then kills these dudes. And then he's mad about Batman screwing Lois Lane. I'm not kidding, by the way. Yeah, for the uneducated, in the planned Justice League sequels, Batman and Lois apparently and that's why Superman became evil and shit. But anyway, it turns out it was a dream the whole time. Why? And Bruce wakes up to see, sociopath! Okay, but for real, Future Flash talks about how Bruce was right about Superman and how Lois is the key to, what, a stash of Ezra Miller's criminal records? The scene is supposed to set up the Justice League sequels, but, you know. But it turns out that was also a dream. What the fuck? Meanwhile, Clark Kent is investigating Batman at work, so... Okay. Let me explain this. So, Superman is mad at Batman because he kills people. And meanwhile, Batman is mad at Superman because he kills people. If that doesn't scream hypocritical writing, I don't know what does. But anyway, there's a trillion talking scenes. Just what I always wanted in my superhero movie. But after all that garbage, we cut to a boat and a bunch of criminals doing criminal stuff. Batman is then chilling on top of a thing, my dumb autism brain forgot what it is, with a fucking sniper rifle. Are you kidding me, Snyder? He shoots a sticky bomb onto the truck, but the guys don't really notice, so they hop into the vehicles. But then the Batmobile emerges in and a car chase happens. The criminals then fight back, and then Batman runs over one of the cars, uses the debris to crush the criminals, whips out the Batmobile's guns, and slaughters every driver he sees. Okay, you know what? Screw it. I can't keep this joke up anymore. Let's turn this Batman a new one, baby. BVS Batman is honestly the worst depiction of a superhero character I've ever seen in my life. I genuinely loathe what Snyder did to him. This guy ain't friggin' Batman. Who and what Batman is more of a detective, but he fights criminals and big bads in Gotham without killing anybody. He values life over anything else because he doesn't want anyone to feel a similar feeling to what he felt during the day his parents were shot. And people saying that he's an anti-hero are completely wrong because he goes out of his way to save every life he can, even if it's someone as cruel as the Joker. But in this movie, he's a freaking psycho! He does the main things Batman should not do when you write him in a story, which is, don't give him guns, don't use guns to kill people, and don't let him kill anybody that goes against his rule. Please stop, why are you doing this? Once again, I get this is an adaptation, but you're not supposed to tarnish the key points of a pre-existing character. Especially in the main cinematic universe, you dumb bitch. So yeah, Snyder's Batman sucks ass. Let's carry on before I get AVG-initis. So anyway, after all that character assassination, Superman stops Batman's murder spree and tells him to give up being the Batman because he kills people. Even though in the last movie, Superman, whether intentional or not, destroyed a city. And then Batman's all like,
Tell me. Do you like Pringles?
and then he hops back into the Batmobile to make kryptonite Pringles or something. That actually happens in the movie. Watch this movie and find out. Meanwhile, Superman's mum has been hearing about the news, calling him a big meanie head, so she basically says, "The world doesn't deserve you, you're a good boy, I love my son!" Despite the fact that, again, before this movie, he had a hand in destroying a city! But now shit's getting real crazy as people are preparing to testify against Superman. Oh yeah, the guy who got his legs crushed got a new wheelchair from Lex. I'm just saying this just so you don't forget, okay? Not that you care anyway. And that woman who was on the news calling Superman cringe gets— Whoa, Jesus! Okay, how totally depressing is this movie? People talk about how bad things are in the world constantly while people get killed left and right. Am I watching a superhero movie or bloody Emmerdale? But anyway, the procedure has begun. That's all, my mic got fixed. Yay! Oh yeah, we're like halfway into this movie. Yeah, halfway into this movie, and there hasn't been a proper Batman v Superman fight. Which is what people expect when they go into a movie like this, you know? Actually, how much is there left in this movie?
Bruh.
I'm sorry, how many hours? But yeah, the procedure has begun, epic politics ensue. But Elastigirl notices that Lex Luthor isn't there. She notices a cup of wee next to her. Everything gets more suspicious and suspicious and suspicious, and this happens. Now, I'm no Superman expert, but I do know a bit about him. And I can 100% say that he could have prevented this from happening. No, seriously, he could have prevented this from happening, or at least saw it coming. One of his superpowers is super hearing, so why didn't he warn everyone about the wheelchair bomb? And he has super ref too, so why can't he just wash away all the fire? And he isn't even fazed by the tons of people who've just been bombed. He doesn't even care. I mean, look at him. Oh, and instead of at least helping the people who are injured in the explosion, he just flies away and just leaves them in the dust. So that's two characters that have been completely butchered now in this movie. Thanks, Snyder, ya bitch! Okay, I'm getting way too angry over a fictional character movie. I really need to set my priorities straight. So blah blah blah, more misery, less action. Lois calls Clark. Clark's in her room. I get more and more suicidal every time I record this.
Clark then goes up a mountain because he's really sad and needs some alone time. He's hallucinating his dad, and for some reason, he doesn't sound like how he did in the previous movie. Meanwhile, the best character in the movie is warning Batman about fighting Superman. Meanwhile, Martha is looking at the TV, talking shit about her son, and she isn't happy about it. Oh no, Car saw her. Oh no, she's getting taken away. Meanwhile, Batman's preparing to bloody murder Superman. I hate to admit this, but that suit looks pretty awesome. Meanwhile, Lois gets captured by Lex's body pals. After Lex talks to Lois, he pushes her off. But Superman saves her. Goody! Superman confronts Lex and talks to him for like 50 billion years. Lex then reveals he kidnapped Martha, and that makes Superman mad, and that's... Meanwhile, times 50, Batman epically exposes Diana for being Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman watches files of the other Justice League members so we can, you know, obviously get these sequels and spin-offs churned out. Meanwhile, the man gets mad at the man, and the man gets mad at Can you guys tell I half-assed this section of the video? This movie just crams in so many things and just expects you to roll with them when you watch it. Screw this gag, let's go to the third act! Finally, the fight we've been waiting about 2 hours for is finally happening. But uh-oh for Superman though, because Batman was preparing for this. Superman tries to reason with Batman, but he won't budge.
I understand.
Pow, boom, paploo, this is really dull. Oh wowie, Batman uses a smoke bomb to hide from the guy who has X-ray vision, you utter dolt! Wowie, Batman is winning because he pooped on Superman. Ugh.
Breathe it in. That's fear.
No. That's kryptonite. And yet, Batman is winning, and it really does feel like this was written by someone who loves Batman more than Superman. Bunch of punchies later, and boom! Batman wins! Woohoo! Yay! This movie's so goddamn stupid. As much as I love Batman over Superman, Superman would easily fold him in an instant. It's time for Batman to bloody murder Superman! However, right before he does that, the dumbest scene in the entire movie happens.
You're letting him kill Martha! Why did you say that name? Save Martha! Why did you say that name? Martha, why did you say that name?
Stop! Please, stop!
Why did you say that name?
It's his mother's name! It's his mother's name.
Excuse me for a moment. Okay, I'm good. But how do you expect me to accept this? Firstly, who refers to their mother by their first name, especially when you're about to die? Secondly, you're telling me that this stops Batman's murder spree? All it took was for both Superman and Batman's mums having the same bloody name to prevent all that? Oh, what? Thirdly, Batman and Superman are now friends now. Alright, sure, just like that. So fast. Yeah, I feel like I've missed a reconciliation scene even though it's not in the movie. I can't really feel anything but raw, unadulterated anger because both characters have been assassinated beyond belief. Actually, nah, here's my advice. If you want to write a different interpretation of a character and want to showcase it to the movie, for the love of God, don't make it in a main cinematic universe! People like this movie, 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 people actually like this movie. I'm going fucking insane. Alright. I've mellowed down. Let's end this travesty. Time for good old Batsy to save Martha! And I gotta be honest, I actually like this scene. It's well choreographed, well shot, well performed, and I do also like that Batman's kind of vulnerable here. Like, they use his cape against him, that's actually quite good. I know I've been shitting a lot on this movie, and justifiably so, but just let me have this. Oh wait, never mind, the scene ends with Batman using a gun to kill a guy. And just when I thought his murder spree was over. But time's a wasting, boys. We've got 40 minutes of this movie left. It seems like Lex Luthor's thingamajiggle has finally stopped cooking, so let's see what it is. But before we do, Superman pops in and sees Lex because he's very mad that Lex trolled him. But Lex is all like, "You're too late, Superman! Weed has been legalized!" Wait, no, I'm talking about someone from actually good movie. Okay, jokes aside, it's time to see what he's actually cooking.
Born to destroy you. Your Doomsday.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Lex was making Doomsday. Let's see what he looks like. What the hell is that? That's Doomsday? That's Doomsday? I mean, the CGI isn't bad, but holy shit, his model is awful! I do not understand how you can go from this to this. What were they thinking? Alright, enough bitching. I want to be done with this stupid ass video. It's time for Superman to fight the turd baby so we can finish this movie. This is the part in the movie where it just feels like a really, really bad video game. Also, you gotta love how they mentioned that the place they're fighting in is abandoned.
Strikers Island, east of Metropolis.
That's uninhabited.
It's like the movie itself is saying that we can't make fun of it because nobody died during the fight, but I watched the movie, and I'm no fucking idiot. Oh yeah, Batman joins the fight to help Superman kill Doomsday, but I'm too lazy to edit all that. But it's time for me to be brief with this whole scene. Oh yeah, hi Wonder Woman, I forgot to tell the audience that you joined as well. Time for the 3 caballeros to fight against the main final boss. Can you guys tell that I want to be done with this movie? Alright, Wonder Woman bashes into Doomsday, Superman bashes into Doomsday, Batman watches, because he has no powers. Also, how much of an accident prone is Lois? But yeah, they're still fighting, boom bow, tube, whoop. And then Superman's all like, wait a minute, I gotta save Lois! So he does. And then Batman's keeping Doomsday at bay, I guess. This is taking so long, it's taking forever. This movie's 3 hours! 3 hours! But then Superman has an idea. Before he charges at Doomsday, he tells Lois that he loves her, and I feel absolutely nothing because I feel like they still haven't been developed at all yet. And it's time for him to kill Doomsday and save the day. Wait a minute, no, that's not what I was meant to say. But to save me from screaming and raging about it, I'm just going to show you a clip from when me and my buddy were watching this movie, and you'll see for yourself.
Time to kill myself in the 2nd movie of this franchise, so I can be resurrected in the fucking 4th! Or 5th, or whatever the fuck it was.
DCU canon is busted, don't ask any questions.
We didn't like it. But yeah, Superman dies for real, and I just don't have it in me to care anymore. Then we get a tease of the guy who will totally be the villain of the next Justice League movie and not have his design changed due to executive meddling or something. Totally no. But yeah, Lex gets arrested and gets sent to the realm of never being in another DCU movie ever again. Also, I kind of love how the newspaper is like, Superman dead. Oh yeah, Clark Kent's dead too. Yeah, random guy. He's dead. Am I ripping off Cosmonaut? Genuine questions. But yeah, funeral time. Everyone who hated him and loved him is mourning his death. And the guy who knew him for a bloody hour mourns his death. And then a few scenes later, Bruce gets back in his Batman getup and visits Lex Luthor. And then he threatens to brand him and send him to Arkham Asylum to let the criminals know who to murder. Good to know that good old Batsy didn't learn his fucking lesson. Meanwhile, Lois pays her respects to her late BF. For a split second, the dirt begins to float, probably to signify Superman's revival in the next movie. And then the movie ends.
That was really bad.
Well, that was horrible. I have never seen a superhero movie fumble the bag with its potential as badly as this one. It tries to be so many things all at once, but it does not leave a good impression at all for the majority of its runtime. It's boring, it's grey, it's ugly, but above all else, as I stated in the intro, it is a complete, utter disgrace to Batman and Superman as characters. Superman in this movie is not Superman. He is an emotionless man with a god complex who has no regard and no care for the people around him. Again, unless you are Lois Lane. The real Superman isn't like this. He doesn't have some backwards ass moral compass. He's a guy with a strong sense of hope and humanity and uses his powers to save people all because it's the right thing to do. This goes for pretty much every superhero ever, I know, but Superman is a different case because of his strong optimism and hope. Yeah, he's an alien, but Earth is his home. He was raised in Smallville and wants to keep the Earth safe at all costs. And I honestly think that's enough to get this guy right in the movie. Shame that didn't happen in both Man of Steel and BVS. And dear God, what happened to Batman in this movie? Yeah, I'm sorry, this isn't Batman, that's just a Punisher in a cowl and a cape. Whereas Superman was grossly misunderstood in this movie, Batman has been heavily butchered to such a high degree that it makes me so goddamn sad that he was portrayed the way he was. And again, like Superman, he isn't like this. The Batman I know, the Batman the majority of the bloody planet knows that he's not like this. Batman's moral code is that he never takes a life. Yeah, he's ruthless, he'll probably break a bone or two, but that's what makes him unique compared to all the other vigilantes we see in media. Thank God for Matt Reeves' Batman, otherwise this guy's reputation and perception would be in the bloody toilet. The rest of the characters are either uninteresting, have little development, or just outright annoying. And don't even get me started on Lex Luthor, because oh my god, he is annoying! I just don't even know what to say about this movie anymore. It's just... the movie's just... I know I have come across as extremely aggressive towards this movie for the majority of the review, and it's mainly because, well, I just love movies, man. I've seen so many movies that have left nothing but a lasting impact on my life, and Marvel and DC movies are no exception. Yeah, there could be the usual mid here and there, but when a movie from either franchise hits, they hit. Movies like Into the Spider-Verse, the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, Batman 2022, The Joker, and so many more are good examples. Basically, I want movies like these to succeed at what they set out to do and be successful doing so. However, when a movie is bad, and not even like, oh, that sucked and brush it off and move on my day, I mean bad, it just leaves such a sour taste in my mouth, and Batman v Superman has done exactly that, and to this day, I genuinely do not understand why some people even like this movie. I'm sorry, but Zack Snyder does not understand these characters. It shows that he is not interested in making faithful adaptations, and rather opt to making edgy fanfics that end up being extremely divisive in the long run. I get that he wants to do different interpretations of comics, but the execution really does feel like he hates these characters. And I'm gonna be honest, it does not sound like he gets why Batman, Superman, or any other Justice League member was so beloved. With an exception to Cyborg, he handled that guy well. I might sound like I'm exaggerating here when I say this, but this is genuinely the worst superhero movie I've ever seen in my life, and it's purely how it feels like it's giving one giant middle finger to general moviegoers, and especially the people who give a crap about Batman and Superman in the first place, and I fully stand by that. Alright, that's me done talking about your movie. Can you please get out of my house?
Okay, before I go, can I ask you one more thing?
And that is?
Will you watch Rebel Moon when it comes out on Netflix?
Maybe.